Oh, what's going on? I'm Rocky Balboa, and this is my experience with Rocky Balboa for the PSP. A brilliant fighting game with good graphics. You know what I mean? For a PSP game, you know? Anyways, I'll let Elden take care of the rest. It's just that my game is so good. No other boxing game could compete. Look, guys, let's be real, alright? Yes, Arekkusu is talking about a video game about Rocky Balboa. Kind of insane, actually, now thinking about it, because I haven't never made Simba Nades. Welcome back. But it's kind of funny, because I have not really made a video on Rocky in a little bit now, like, in comparison to before, where I was watching Rocky movies, like, left and right. But anyways, but don't worry, I'll watch Rocky 5 and Rocky 6. I just want to give them a period of time, because to explain that bit, like how I watch the Rocky movies is I don't like watching them back to back to back to back to back unless I'm really hooked on it. But I also like giving myself time away from it, so that way I don't like just bench it so soon, you know, all the movies. But anyways, so I wanted to talk about Rocky Balboa for the PSP, because I feel like my experience on this game can kind of help y'all in the future if y'all ever dive yourselves deep in, like, yo, I want to watch the Rocky movies and I want to play a video game that features Rocky. Should I play the PSP game, right? And it's like, yay, but also nay. I'm gonna tell you why. So I was hooked on the Rocky movies, right? I was so hooked, in fact, that I wanted to play a Rocky video game. And I was like, fuck, I can't get any of the console Rocky games. You know, some games that people said that were actually really good or really peak or something or whatever, right? So I couldn't get those. So I found a PSP ROM because I don't own a PSP. And I'm not trying to go out and find a copy of Rocky Balboa in a freaking retro store for over $120. You know, so I don't want to go do that. So, basically, I decided to ROM it. I found a ROM file, found it online, got it, and decided to play. And keep in mind, I was playing this game on par when watching the Rocky movies. So if I saw Rocky 1, I would play the fights that they had in that game from Rocky 1. Because Rocky Balboa, the story mode, is basically, to sum it up, is basically going through all the movies and their respective fights. So, for example, Rocky versus this unknown dude, I can't remember his name, or Rocky versus Creed from Rocky 1, Rocky versus Creed from Rocky 2, you know, like when I watched Rocky 1, I was on that PSP shit, or at least a little bit later I was, and I decided to play the Rocky 1 missions, and to be honest, when I started playing, you know, the Rocky game, the controls were there was so much layout that they had on the controls. If you think a fighting game has you pressing a lot of inputs, which is true as well, this game must have loved inputs, because I'm telling you, you can press square for jabs, but like you gotta be moving up with the analog stick and then pressing triangle to do like some type of combo or a decent punch that's not like a quick jab. You have to press like square plus triangle R1 to do like a super freaking gut punch. I'm sitting there like, dude, why is every button on the controller right now being used just to fight, bro? My fingers on an actual controller are actually getting exhausted with how many fights, because I remember I was doing Rocky 1 versus Creed, and yo, the great on all social media. What? I only have YouTube as social media. I don't know what that means either. The Tribe channel. But anyways, yeah, it's like every fight I got in from the movies, I was experiencing finger pain, because every single time you want to move your character left, you can move them left with the analog stick backward and stuff to dodge punches. But, and since, keep this in mind, this is a boxing ring. This isn't like Punch-Out where all you have to do is you stand in one spot, move the D-pad left, right, or down, duck, right? This is a boxing game where you move all around the court as Rocky and whoever his competitor is from that certain movie. And, you know, I was having so much fun at first when going up against Rocky 1 opponents, and I was like, okay, so this is Rocky and whatever Rocky characters are going up against each other in those said movies, right? So think of my excitement whenever I watched Rocky 1. I loved the Rocky 1 fight where I got to actually play as Rocky versus Creed. It was really cool. And then Rocky 2 was the same thing. I loved playing Rocky versus Creed. I loved that fight. Then we got to Rocky 3 with Ivan Drago, which Ivan Drago, by the way, versus Creed, where you're playing Ivan Drago himself, murking the boy Creed. That was fucked up. But I still kind of enjoyed that fight because, you know, Rocky 3 was a good movie. Or no, that was not Rocky 3. That was Rocky 4, actually. Rocky 3 was Rocky versus this other black dude. I can't remember his name, but I guess fighting him was all right. You know, Rocky 4 was Ivan Drago and shit. Not Rocky 3, my bad. I'm getting them mixed up a little bit because they're all in my mind. And since this is like pretty much you just fighting the same dudes from the movies. And after I got the gist of the story mode where it's basically just Rocky going through his you're going through his past ventures through the movies, you know, and it's all of them, all 6 movies on the PSP, which is a technical marvel having all 6 movies with all of their respective fights in there. But I'm not going to lie to you guys. After a while, when I stopped watching Rocky movies on a consistent basis, I decided to stop playing this game because not only I didn't know who the fighters were because I haven't watched Rocky 5 by this point, but I don't know. I was getting really tired of the pain that every play session would leave in my fingers. You know, like my fingers are good right now, obviously, but like every single time that I played, I would have to, like I said, hold triangle or press triangle circle at the same time to do this input, or move left and press triangle at that set angle to do left jab, right jab, freaking, or a cross, or a gut punch, or a high punch, or a low punch, you know what I mean? I would have to do these certain inputs, and keep in mind, I'm not a guy who does inputs, okay? You guys know me when I made my videos on, I think, Dragon Ball FighterZ, my experience on Dragon Ball FighterZ, or my experience with Street Fighter. I think I mentioned in that video that I am shit at doing inputs. I am very bad at it. I don't like doing inputs to dish out certain moves. I've never been good at that, and this game is kind of like that, but I kind of can't say it's like that at the same time because you are pressing multiple buttons, but it's like in a 3D arena space. Meanwhile, those games are like 2D spaced, you know, or, well, some games, if you're talking Tekken, then like all the character models are all 3D and shit, but, you know, it's just, you still want to use D-pad and shit. And I don't know why, but like the difficulty on some of these guys, even on normal difficulty when fighting them, can be pretty fucking brutal sometimes for like no reason. Like I'm telling you, I had to put it on casual mode sometimes because these fights would be stupid difficult. Like sometimes on normal. Other fights, it'd just be like an average fight on normal difficulty mode when running the hands as other characters and other fighters. But like I mentioned before that, though, it's like you look back and you're just sitting there like, dude, why is Creed from Rocky 2 being way too aggressive, bro? Or why is Ivan Drago a fucking tank? You know, in terms of Rocky fighting against right now in game. I mean, it's pretty accurate to the movie because Ivan Drago in Rocky 4 was a beast of a fucking man. I mean, that dude, well, but he also was using steroids, sadly, which kind of pissed me off. Because he's like, he's not even really enhancing his strength the right way, you know what I mean, by doing the training and putting in the work in. And also, I do love before every single fight you do in the game, they give you a little cutscene of what takes place like right before the fight in the movie. So they give you like a little movie clips of moments that happened right before. To be honest, I feel like what would have been a really cool unlockable after each fight was you unlock those said movies, like from Rocky. Or if you beat all the fights and under a certain time limit or something, you unlock like the entire flicks of Rocky 1 through 6 in the PSP game. I'm gonna be honest, that would have been the best way to watch the Rocky movies right there on a little handheld, other than like, you know, getting your Steam Deck or something or whatnot. But like back then, that would have been a technical marvel if we had Rocky and them, you know, those Rocky movies in those games. But other than that, I feel like whenever people bring this game up in terms of Rocky, it's like, dang, I mean, maybe, you know, the controls and stuff, screw what I was going to say a second ago about how maybe it's just me, but like, well, it probably is just me, but I was going to say this, right? This is what I meant to say. It's probably just me, but I feel like, you know, since a lot of other people are used to like pressing multiple buttons, doing multiple inputs for wrestling and boxing games outside of Punch, since I'm not used to playing boxing games on like Punch Out, it's kind of exhausting for me to kind of like, or finger exhausting, or however you want to put it. It's kind of exhausting to fucking keep that same energy and keep playing, because I'm not used to those type of games. I didn't even grow up with these Rocky video games and stuff. But yeah, it's an alright game. I know there's Mikey's training grounds where you could practice all the moves and stuff, but honestly, I don't think it really helps all that much. It doesn't alleviate the pain you get in your fingers when playing. And to be honest, I actually, after a while, I stopped playing because of this finger pain. I was tired of getting on because, again, I was getting out of that Rocky mood a little bit, like that Rocky movie binge rush. And I kind of was done with this game because I didn't want to watch a Rocky movie. Or, you know, it also kind of sucked because since I didn't finish the Rocky movies, I would sometimes get spoiled on some of the fights that I played. And I'd be like, okay, now I know these fights take place. And I was also hearing from other people that some Rocky movies are nowhere near as good as others. And I was like, ah, damn, you know, like Rocky 5 is not as good as Rocky 4, or Rocky 6 is nowhere near as good as the original 3 or the original 4 Rocky movies. And I'm like, what is all this stuff about which Rocky movie is good and which Rocky movie is bad over here, bro? You know what I'm saying? Also, I'm going to do another stream straight after this. We're going to go on the PlayStation 5 and play a little bit of a fighting game, if you know what I mean. I'm going to put it up the hands. So, if you guys want to see that, you know, let me know down below and stuff. But yeah, like, I don't know. Do I recommend this game? Like I said, that's why I say, if you are a Rocky fan, then you might get something out of this game. Yes, please, JT Owen. Yes, please. Okay, then I will put on a fighting game and stuff. I'll play. But, if you love Rocky, I recommend you give it a try. But I don't think you should beat it, to be honest. I think you should see it for what it is, play a few matches, and then just kind of leave. Because, in my opinion, I feel like Rocky Balboa for the PSP is just okay. It's not all that. It's just okay. It's an okay boxing experience. I'd probably say there definitely are better Rocky games if you want to get into Rocky video games, or just better boxing games in general. But to be real, I think, in my opinion, the best boxing game of all time is the Punch-Out series, which, even if it is goofy with its wacky characters, I still think Punch-Out is the best boxing series of all time, and it has never been topped. But anyways, like, comment, subscribe, favorite, share it with your friends. Let me know what you guys think of Rocky Balboa for the PSP. Do you guys think it's a good game? Do you guys think maybe I should play more boxing or fighting games on the PlayStation, or for PlayStation Portable or whatnot? Let me know down below in the comments. Anyways, let's go play a fighting game now. So, peace.